This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I'd saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
Well, that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Enquiry Weekend Podcast. My name's Lee Keys of System Bet UK, and with me my co-pilot John Lang of John Jones Blogspot. Good evening, John. How's your week been?
Well, any happier I would have bust, I think. I've managed to turn many winning opportunity into a defeat. Probably back to record number of seconds for this week. Done plenty of money in, but other than that, it's been great. Yeah,
I'd probably go with that. It's not been a great week for me punting wise, for sure. But nevertheless, we move on because we've got some cracking action this weekend, and it is the Greenham meeting at Newbury and the Scottish National at Ayr. And also we've got a few bets, I believe, tomorrow. So this should be a good show. And I know for a fact, listeners, that John's got a very good nap tomorrow. I've got quite a few interesting bets on Sunday. So hopefully we'll line your pockets with a few shillings. Right, on to the questions before we get on to the tips. Some good questions this week. And the first one is, if you were given a free rein, John, in racing, so head of the BHA with a rod of power, what would you do to make racing in this country a better product?
Well, first of all, I'd trim the fixture list.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd be able to do this, but I would definitely limit the amount of coverings the stallion could do. I'd probably limit that to 50. I would take the tote back off Baldy, and I would launch Racing Zone Exchange.
Wow. Well, we've not chatted about this, and I can honestly say this, and we're literally off same hymn sheet. And what I don't get with racing, and we've known this a long time, obviously it's a very bad deal for racing with the bookmakers at the moment in terms of, the gross profit tax deal. It's a shocking deal, and I'm surprised no one at the head of the BHA or whoever takes over the reins. Rusty was before, like the former bookmaker, but no one is taking the bookies on with any gumption regarding, like, in other words, you threaten to cut the fixtures. You say, right, that's it. No, we can't carry this on in a sustainable way. The Spring Cup on Sunday is worth 16,000 to the winner. That's unacceptable in any jurisdiction in the world, right? Whether it's Britain, that is just absolutely awful. The Spring Cup is worth £16,000 to the winner. Now, the way that I think you tackle the bookmakers is, to start with, is you just say, right, we see you, and 2022 fixtures, it's time now, we're going to cut them by a third, because it's unsustainable to pay the money out for the owners, to basically keep going. It's just not. I mean, listening to Christian Williams, who's he was on a racing TV interview the other day, and he stated that he was going to move. Well, he was going to try France out for a little bit as like a busman's holiday, just to see, take the family out there, take the owners out there. There's more and more owners that I know are going to France because the prize money obviously is ridiculously good. Like you said, they have, because it's tote funded. Now, for me, if you have your own tote as the BHA, if you have your own betting exchange as the BHA, all the profit goes into the sport. That's how it should be. And I can't for the life of me think why that no one ever that takes over at the BHA, the new head of the BHA, does not immediately want to get the bookmakers round the table to renegotiate the deal, John.
I think the trouble is that the existing BHA top brass have all been conditioned to think that the bookies know 20 times more about marketing the sport and getting the result out of the sport than the BHA do. And they'll march into any negotiations and give them a bloody good listening to.
Yeah.
Rather than actually go in there and tell it like it is. Because I don't think there's any of them have the product knowledge or the savvy to go in there and negotiate properly and put a gun to the both heads.
When you read things like that Denise Coates is taking bonuses that she is of that magnitude of Bet365. Now, you know what that reminds me of? When Betfair first came into power, and you'd got punters on Betfair making more than Betfair themselves. So basically, racing is supplying the product, and yet the people that are allegedly helping to fund the sport are making more than what racing's making. Racing, we're providing the product. Racing's providing the product, but then you've got the head of Bet365. Who, by the way, look, I'm not begrudging Denise Coates at all. I'm far from it. It's just that if she's taking hundreds of millions of pounds as a bonuses each year from her company, then things are going rather well. And as we know, racing provides that platform to punters to go in their casinos, to go and bet on other things. And that's why they demand ludicrous fixture lists. That's why they want wall-to-wall fixtures. That's why they want 12 o'clock starts and 9 o'clock finishes. So the punters will stay in, play the fruit machines. We'll just stay in all day while there's a race on. It's like, all right, 2:47 Crayford or 4:15 at Bath, whatever. And this is the thing, and racing is so shafted by this, and I mean, seeing it breaks my heart for owners in a way, because and not the sheiks or the well-to-dos, but the people that are trying to live the dream and might own a 90 horse and running a Spring Cup or running a nice handicap, and it's 16,000 to the winner. It's an absolute that is the biggest disgrace ever. I'm not bothered about COVID. I'm not bothered about that. That race should be properly funded. Like it's a Spring Cup. It's a flagship handicap at the start of the season, just like the Lincoln is. And I just think it's an absolute disgrace. So basically, to improve, in other words, to answer this question, you need to start with the bookmakers first. You need to start basically threatening the bookmakers, threatening to cut the fixture list, getting rid of fixtures that basically aren't needed and just there for bookmakers. Racing should not exist just for bookmakers. It needs to exist to for everyone. Everyone needs a slice of the pie, and that's the way forwards, I think. Anyway, we've sort of covered that. Oh, just one more thing. I mean, I would also improve the race cards on racetracks, because having been to America, you pay £5 to get in or $5 to get in. You get a race card with full form lines, speed figures, a lot more interest in, you'll get the tipsters analysis for $5. And, what our race cards are basically full of shit and, and just rubbish. So I'd improve that. Just for a casual race guy to think, oh, what's all this about? What's these form lines about? Just to try and educate that what racing's about might get them into it. This is worth studying. It's quite interesting. But our race cards are just so poor that no one reads them. I mean, every time I've been in the track as an owner, you get your race card given you, and it just ends up sat on a table somewhere and opened. You know what I mean? It's just a waste of time.
It's just so you know what's what when you go in the paddock, isn't it?
I think that's it. Yeah, you go in the paddock. It's handy. You can just obviously make your notes or ring them off. But apart from that, it's absolutely useless. No waste of time. Anyway, we move on to our next question, which is when the money comes for one for a horse, which stables do you consider to be the most shrewdest to land a punt, and who would be your go-to jockey if looking to land one and your jockey, to get a mark? So basically, to cut it fine, John, who would you book to land the punt? Who would you book to get your mark?
To land the punt, I'd probably rock along with Vic Bear, really, because he's unlikely. Well, according to his peer group, he's extremely unlikely to go rogue and stop it on you.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact he can ride very, very accurately to orders. So I would definitely rock along with it there. To land the punt, he wouldn't have that great a following. He's going to knock anything off the price either.
Yeah, true. What stables would you consider to be the shrewdest to land a bet?
At the minute, I'd say probably Agus.
Willie Agus, yeah, fantastic trainer to be fair.
I think they don't miss much at the minute.
No, the money's very sharp as well. When you get money for a haggis horse in a handicap that looks fairly unexposed, the money is very, very sharp. So yeah, I concur with that. Myself, just basically, I'll try and pick people out of a box just to be a bit interesting rather than the obvious ones. Trainers, I would pick Sophie Leach for jumps, and I would pick Les Eyre for the flat. Les does not miss. Like these are the yards that people think, well, Les Eyre for God's sake. But Les is quite shrewd. He really does get them placed well, and Sophie Leach, obviously, she's got the French interest. She's not. They're not. That setup's brilliant. They're not daft. So I will go for Sophie Leach jumps, Les Eyre flat. Jockeys, I will go to get a mark, Alain Corley, who's always 8 wide, 9 wide, and does the old shuffle in the saddle, knows what he's doing. And on the flat, I'd go for Charlie Bennett to basically do the old shuffle on the flat. To land a punt, I would probably say there's one jockey I really love over jumps when I've got my money down or serious money down, and it would be David Bass.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss. He's a strong lad, and he doesn't miss. And basically, if a horse needs making his mind up, that's the one. We'll go to our final question tonight, and it's from a good friend of ours, really. Well, he's not a friend, we don't know him. I don't want to say I know someone because I don't want to get picked up on it on Twitter. But John Nolan is do you know him? Do you know him?
Oh, I know him, yeah.
I never knew. Well, anyway, so he says, it's a good question. He says, if you were gifted a 2-year-old colt, John, by See the Stars out of a Coolmore mare, who would you send it to? So who would you send it to?
Tattersalls.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Whatever they get, it's profit. Go on.
770,000 guineas.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's say if you kept it.
If I kept it, okay, I'll keep it then. Against me better judgment, I'll keep it. And I would say, well, I'd want it where I could see it. So,
Jeff Harker.
Oh no, I'm not going to Jeff's because what I'll do, I'll kill 2 birds with one stone. I'll send it to Anthony Britton and have a nosy round O'Meara as well. I'm there.
Yeah, So would you like to ride it? Would you get Thick Dave in there? Would you?
Absolutely. No messing about. I'd be taking it up for a mark, and what I would do, I'd just give Dave 3 lots of wrong instructions, so he's not even going to get into trouble.
So he says, what race would you most like to win with it? So, where would you send it to?
The 6 furlong nursery at the Avon meeting.
You'd be struggling with. I suppose it depends on what.
Jump and go, Dave. Jump and go.
What Coolmore mare was, but see the style, 6 furlongs.
Yeah, jump and go, Dave. Class without.
And he says, John, how could you guarantee it wouldn't be spooked by the siren?
Well, that's easy, because I would arrange with Anthony that as soon as it arrived, the speakers went into its box and it was subjected 24/7 to thrash metal music until it was stone deaf. And then it wouldn't be spooked by anything, and if I needed to sell it, it looked like the most laid-back character you've ever seen going down the sales ring.
These sirens at yours, are they COVID ambulances? What are they?
They're ambulances. There's no. The police have given up round here. They're just shuttling the dead backwards and forwards in the hospitals. It's you can't even find a policeman round here now.
Absolutely brilliant. Quality. Right. Great question, John Nolan. You've got some great answers from John there. We're going to move on to some tipping because we know that you want our tips. We've got obviously a truncated Saturday card because of Prince Phil's funeral.
Have you had a look at the squad, by the way, for that?
I haven't, no.
Oh, very impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a good mixture of youth and experience. 3 or 4 homegrown hereditary titles. About 4 or 5 cases of incest. And, bring it home, folks. I mean, it's they've selected an excellent squad of 30 there for the big day.
Do you think there'll be any tooting going on that day?
Well, the situation with Prince Andrew, where he's been denied the right to wear an admiral's uniform, I think that could escalate. If he can get into the dressing up box tonight and salt something away there, he could turn up looking like a Gurkha tomorrow, or maybe a snowman. It just depends what sort of outfit he can get, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. Are you going to be watching?
I might just have a quick look, just do a quick medal count on Prince Edward, Yeah. I'm looking forward to his book coming out because at the last count he had 17 medals, so the 27 minutes he spent in the Marines must have been really exciting. Be a hell of a chapter in the book, that.
Yeah, he didn't like that much, did he?
No, he did not.
Right. So, around the Prince Phil action tomorrow, we have got some racing, which is obviously at different times. And for those of you that are thinking about hitting the booze or the artificial substances hard tonight, it's an early start in the morning for you. So you don't want to lay in too long. John, tomorrow you must have some proper ammo. Where are we going to start?
I feel I've dug one out tomorrow at Thirsk. And this is in the 110 race, and it's called Strocks. And people who've been listening since the start of the programme won't be surprised to find out that the man in form, and on top is our old pal Thick Dave. For Happy Tim. This one really caught my eye on debut this year. Pulled like an Irish tug-of-war team early on. Poor old Dave didn't know where to go to get any cover, so he decided to come the wrong side of the track for starters. Buried it a little bit. By the time we got it buried, it was starting to run out of puff. So Dave gave it a bit of a nudge. It ran on okay, but was tiring. It will improve a ton for that. It's got a nice draw in the middle, which, all right, it's maybe not ideal that Dave has options. You know, you usually want Dave with one option. Go forward or go back. But I think this is tremendous value tomorrow. The winner of the Redcar race is just about favourite tomorrow. Whatever happens, I think Strocks beats that. So, and we're 12-1. So,
and like you say, I mean, if you look at the for listeners, if you look at the form of the race, the fourth horse home won at Newcastle last night, Athol Blair Boy, and Mutton Arsenic, the second in the race, should really probably have won at Ripon. Just got a little bit further back than ideal, and James Sullivan had to sort of move around them, and you could possibly say it was a little bit of an unlucky loser at Ripon. Behind Mark's Choice, that was also yesterday. So,
I feel that farm will stand up well myself.
Yeah, that's definitely overpriced, John. I think that's a very, very good shout. So that's a good. Have you anything else on Saturday that takes your eye?
That's about it, really. On Saturday, I did. I had a bit of a look at the Irish cards because obviously the Irish wouldn't be putting anything off because of a funeral. I did think Curran's Option could run well in the Gladness Stakes.
Yeah,
I think that's a horse that's got a bit more to offer from last year. Even finished up in listed races last year after doing really well in handicaps. It's about at the right sort of rating now to be winning races like this. As I said, I think it's probably got a little bit more to offer still for the excellent Adrian McGuinness. So I wouldn't be surprised to say that go really well in the Gladness Stakes.
Okay,
but it wouldn't be a huge bet or anything like that.
No, but you think it can run well, so that's Current Option in the 235 at the Curragh. Adrian McGuinness trains. Gavin Ryan takes the ride. Currently around the 13-2, 7-1 mark. Might be worth an each way look there at the Curragh for John. Tomorrow, myself, I have got a few little sort of bankers for you that I thought might be sort of some things to put in little doubles and trebles, things like that, just for a bit of interest on Saturday. Throne Hall in the 140 at Thirsk was very impressive for me at Doncaster on reappearance. It beat a very... I think Goslins were quite surprised that Takaria didn't win that, and Throne Hall kicked it out of the way off a mark of 88. It's up in the ratings to 97 here. I don't think it faces anything with much in hand. Whether it's a value price, possibly not. At the moment, it's been hammered overnight. It was 5-4. It's been knocked into 4-5. So maybe I'm not as bouncy as what I was earlier. I think odds against would be fine, but odds on maybe not. One of the other things that I liked at Bangor tomorrow was Camteract in the 12.55, the 3 mile handicap chase. The horse basically has thrived for fast ground, really bouncing off the ground at the minute, won its last 2. There's absolutely no way that... I mean, it's off 88. It won a conditional jockeys race last time and was very impressive and didn't jump that well either, like he can. this would be an equally weak race, and Bangor will suit the horse because Bangor suits horses that like to take the time over the chase course, being round the wide outside. They tend to go too fast. And I think Counteract tomorrow is quite a good bet for Susie Smith. That's in the 12.55. And finally, one, John, that you will know, in the 6.15 at Nottingham, I thought Jean Baptiste was not a bad shout at 9-2. An each way thief race, if you like, if all 8 go to post.
Stable upgrade yet to pay off, I see.
Well, obviously, with Stout last year, we know the system at the moment. Stout runners this year are good. Stout runners last year bad. And Stout to George Bowie. He's had 2 runs for George Bowie. One ridden by Thick Spencer at Newcastle. And then last time showed a lot more when just getting touched off by Mars Landing at Leicester. Now, we know that Mars Landing will probably start to be a horse this year. And second to that, running with it wasn't beat far. It has to. You think Jean Baptiste with that level of form has to go close in the 6.15 at Nottingham tomorrow. So that was my choices. They booked Mark Crean that also rode Ransom the other night for Stout and did quite well. I felt I've been quite critical of Mark Crean. I think he's quite weak, but don't know. Maybe he's just. I thought he rode quite well the other night on Ransom.
I thought he looked quite sharp on that.
Yep. So I'm always happy to be wrong on jockeys. Jockeys improve and regress, as we know, just like everyone in life improves and regresses. And Mark Crean, fine on Ransom the other night. He takes the 5 off. Could be a valuable 5 off for John Baptiste in the 6.15 at Nottingham. That's my sort of 3 to look at tomorrow. John with an excellent call on the Tim Easterby horse. I think that's excellent value around 12-1 plus. So you might want to take a strong look at that, really. We move on to Sunday, where it's the pinnacle of the weekend action that should have been Saturday. And it's the Newbury Greenham meeting and the Ayr Grand National meeting. So I think we'll look at the ITV races. And ITV have gone to town Sunday. They must be bored. 5 races at Newbury on ITV. And we've got 5 races, I believe, on ITV. Also 10 races, and ITV 10. We'll start with the twig hoppers because we're absolutely useless on twig hoppers. Out the way. Have you anything at Ayr, John, that you particularly like? Have you had a look at Ayr much?
I did look at Ayr. I like King Argent in the 115. Yard's in good form. I didn't think in the 225 Tommy's Oscar. Been in great shape all year and can carry on with a bit of progression.
Yeah.
I like All Mankind in the 3 o'clock. I think it'll be too fast for these lot round here. He won't save him like he tried to at the Fez. And then in the Scottish National, Dingo Dollar won as soon as he was away from Alan King. Was used to marks above this one while he was there. Doesn't need a personal best to actually go and win this still. Yeah. Looks the type now he's with Big Sander. And I did think you couldn't address that race without looking at Mr. Fogpatches, the Irish Raider.
Yeah. Hope we are.
Yes.
The carrots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you saying then that Dingo Dollar didn't like Alan King and prefers Big Sandy?
I think it's looking that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in this case size does matter.
Brilliant. Well, Dingo Dollar is second off the trainer change. So Big Sandy's got, yeah, it's a fair shout. Okay, well, I have 2 for Ayr. I have 2 good ones for Ayr. First one's the 150, the CPMS Novices Champion Handicap Chase. Nice pot, actually. Well done, eh? £50,000 guarantee, 26,000 for the winner, 10,000 more than the Spring Cup. A total disgrace. How can you have 10,000 more than the Spring Cup? Bonkers. 5-Star Getaway is joint favourite. Now, that's the one where the owner, Carl Hinchy, was moaning on Twitter for the handicapper putting it up £15 for beating an absolutely dead actor in Niven.
Yeah.
And I saw his point. I mean, how is that favourite? How on earth can that win? He's moaning like how on earth is that favourite? It should not be favourite.
No.
Yeah, it's pathetic, right? The one here, to be honest, an absolutely lump on, and I mean lump on. I've no idea why it probably won't be this price come post time. Pilbara, Emmett Mullins, Alan Corley. Emmett Mullins is the Magic Carrots barn of all time this season. He's just immense. You've seen what he's done with the shunter. It's the evidence. Evidence is key. Validation and evidence. You see what he's done with the shunter. He's landed the big bonuses. This is a plan in the waiting, right? This horse has had two starts recently over fences. It finished second to Stacks Mountain at Listowel, and it clearly wasn't off because it drifted in the betting. And it still finished second, ran well, and then they dropped it in trip to 2 miles 2. Never fluent, just couldn't get its jumping together. He's off a mark here that is just ridiculous, and it's up to 3 miles. That's the key. It's up to 3 miles. The horse simply is different gear from that mark. I'm not going to say it's a whirlwind, but if everything goes right for it, it jumps well and everything goes right, then it's a racing certainty off that mark. Pilbara tomorrow. Good luck. If you're taking the 9 to 2, you're very happy. I'll be left with the dregs and the scraps in the morning. But Pilbara, that's the good thing over the jumps tomorrow. And the second bet, yeah, absolutely. It's just a ridiculous price. How can you have 5-Star Getaway giving that £10? Absolutely no chance whatsoever that gives that £10. None. No, niche, nada. We move on to the Scottish National, where my other bet is Some Chaos. That's a rather large 25 to 1. Michael Scudamore in tremendous form at the moment, training a few winners. He had a second in a grade race at Aintree last week, and he is literally in very good form. And you can see they must have had this in mind all season. The horse is 10 years old. It starts off in November. It runs in the Badger Beers at Wincanton. Finishes 5th, staying on. The horse is 5 from 10 over jumps, so over the chase fences. So they probably thought then, this stays nicely. What's the target? It likes good ground. So what's the target? Probably nothing at Cheltenham. The 3 miles too sharp. Where do we go? They probably thought, right, it's no good Welsh National. That's soft ground. So they thought Scottish National. Because what have they done since? 2 hurdle races, handicap hurdle. Yeah. Obviously to just straighten the horse up. 2 preps in March just to get the horse fit. And now back over fences, fresh horse, loves the jumping game. What a price, 25 to 1. Incredible price. Against, basically, if you look through the Scottish National, there's very few that are well handicapped or thrown in or, For example, like you've got Brian Ellison's Sam's Adventure. Mm-hmm. Lovely horse, not knocking the horse, but now 147. It's won an Ida, it's won at Haydock in deep ground. Yeah, and that is like 2.5 times lesser price. How does Sam's Adventure beat Some Chaos for me? I just don't see it. And then the favourite, I Right. I mean, this is obviously it's ran well in the race before, I believe. I'm sure I Right's running the Welsh, or am I wrong? No, I'm wrong. I always thought I Right had run in the Scottish National before. No, but anyway, I Right ran 3rd at Cheltenham, and this, to me, is a bit of an afterthought for I Right. It's a worthy favourite on the Cheltenham, but I do feel that Some Chaos is the bet at 25. So that was me at Air.
Well, our rate's had its balls out for everybody to say all season, hasn't it, really?
Well, that's it. I mean, to me, it's just it is what it is. It's off a massive mark. I mean, I right now lumping 11-11 round there, 154, and it's got to give Some Chaos over a stone, well, nearly a stone. I just think this is a great bet. 25 is just huge, absolutely huge. So I'm all over that. Right, we'll move on to the flat action then, where we've got ITV for some strange reason covering maiden races. You don't see that very often.
An exciting maiden race.
Exciting, yeah. The first race, John, 1 o'clock Newbury.
Epic.
It's the epic race. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'd be loath to go against your Guineas horse, Snow Lantern. The Gosden one ought to be second. And I think it'll probably be about 9 lengths back to third.
Pretty much. I've got to admit my disappointment, because I've been waiting to back Snow Lantern, and I've been waiting to unleash absolutely, shekels full. And then we run into Derab, which was second to La Barossa, doing quite a lot wrong on debut. And yeah, it's left me quite sick, really. Yeah, I mean, if it had run at that's why I was sick it didn't run at Newmarket, because that made that it was actually declared in. It would have, we even said after the race, that would have won by 6. They've probably done it because it was a bit fast, the ground, but I don't think it'd have bothered it. I think it'd have been fine. So yeah, disappointing, because I think we could have had a really, 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 really strong bet midweek. But now I'm not so sure. Derab, Snow Lantern, take your pick. It literally is a Swan Vista. I prefer the filly because I think the filly's class, but that's also a very good horse, I believe. 135 Newbury, John. It's the John Porter, the Group 3 1/2. Any view?
Yes. Again, 25,000 quid for this.
Unbelievable.
Quite shocking. This is the sort of thing they were running the handicap for back in the 80s. Al RC of Willie Haggis's has plenty of scope for improvement. Probably already has a level of form required in the tank. I couldn't look past this, to be perfectly frank. Nothing to say the ground will be an issue. Yeah, I just like the horse very much. I think it was stuff these.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed at the price. It was 72 anti-purse.
Yeah,
I kept looking at this race thinking, can't be 72, can't be 72.
Yeah.
Nah, 74, and it's basically stole my thunder. This was going to be the probably nap of at 72. It was going to be the nap of the weekend, but sadly 74. I think big things for this horse this year. They thought a lot about this, and I mean, Jim Crowley got off it at Goodwood apparently and blamed like that the ground was quick enough for it, but they're pretty thick. I mean, jockeys. I don't think fast ground will be a problem for this.
No.
If it does ride quick, because like there's nothing on pedigree that says it wants slow ground. It's See the Stars out or a Shamadal mare. I don't see anything regarding ground there. And Maureen Haggis has even said before that it probably wants quicker ground. So thick Jim, he's got off it a good one. He probably didn't act around that Sussex gas pit. What do you think, John?
Well, that's more likely reason than the ground, because there's nothing in its action to say once deep cutting the ground or anything like that.
I don't think so.
No.
So Al-Azi, I think it's not a good bet at the prices. I can't put it out now. I can't say to listeners, slamming the lamb at 7 or 4, and it's been 7 or 2. So disappointing there. We go on to the 210, which is the Fillies Guineas trial, the Fred Darling and 11 to 4 Fav is alcohol free, John.
Yeah, probably just far enough for this. I'm a little bit surprised at the price of Wild Irish. I thought it'd be shorter than this. I know you shouldn't be chuntering about prices when they're bigger than you expect. You just get stuck in. But I did think this would be about between 7 and 8 to 1. Here we are at 14s. So it's going to force me hand. I'm going to have a decent bet on this because I was very impressed with it in Newcastle. Lost a pile of distance at the start of the race and then just travelled up like a proper travelly thing. And I know the time was nothing special. It probably doesn't break much out, but it was just one of them where you just get impressed, really, you know. There's probably a chance it's more of an Oaks type, but I think until they prove themselves to be woefully short of pace, you can rock along with these for a Guineas type. And I never think this is a deep race, you know. I always feel as though if you've got something with half a leg of promise, you can go close, and I think this certainly can.
Yeah, I mean, I like something out of the box here. And the reason I say this is because I don't believe any of these fillies will go on to win the Guineas. In fact, I'd probably say with certainty that none of these fillies are good enough to win a Guineas. None of them. I've been through them. I've looked at them physically. I just don't like any of them going forwards to win. To win a 1,000 Guineas, it's just that's it. So something out of the box like this, where it's won a maiden, the form maybe hasn't worked out how you'd want, you know, for the race. But bearing in mind that it's John Gosden, it's Lady Bamford, it was a very expensive purchase. She's very, very well bred. I mean, she, like you said, she's probably on pedigree, possibly more of a stamina laden filly. Dalakani on the dam side. A lot of the dam side stayed very well. So yeah, I like that call because like I say, everything at the front end of the market doesn't impress me at all. It really doesn't. So I'm not. Whatever wins the Fred Darling, don't be blaming for the Guineas because like if the front end does, because I don't see this. Just don't see it.
Some great instinct, isn't there?
Yeah. We move on to the Greenham. So that the last Guineas trial. And we've got 2-1 market leader Chindit, John. Views.
I was struggling to get away from Chindit, really. There was probably reasons for saying he'd be over the top last time out. And the rest of them I'm not entirely thrilled about. Insomnia that did us a good turn the other day needs to improve a vast amount. Looking at him physically, I don't think he's got that in him. The Archie Watson horse looks to have plateaued out as well, I thought. There's just not a lot there that I'd want to be worried about, really. I think Chindit's the one they've all got to beat.
Yeah, I'd agree on the Dewhurst run and all form. You'd have to. I think Chindit's solid at around the 2-1 mark. To be honest, I'm not saying this is like a monster bet or anything, but it's very hard to knock because you have to go down the betting and then think, right, what's this done? What's that done? Alchemate for me is a Commonwealth Cup horse. It's got a lot of pace. Travels remarkably well. And you saw that last year that as soon as it was faced with testing conditions, which was the 7 furlongs on soft ground, Dewhurst, obviously it just faded like a fadey thing. And I was, if I owned Alchemate, I would be thinking Commonwealth Cup. So that's where I'd be going. I don't. They might have aspirations of the Guineas, but this won't get a mile as long as I'm alive. I'll commit. So even if it does manage to scramble home tomorrow, it won't be getting the mile. So it's a waste of time. So they may as well do it and come back for the Commonwealth Cup. Was my view there, and I would say probably Chinned It is solid because it didn't happen for the horse in the Duers. It was short of room, and they looked after it in the closing stages, which was quite nice. So Chinned It for me also was John. Pretty solid there. Right, we move on to the Spring Cup, John.
Yeah, the Spring Cup. Worth how much?
Well, 16,000 to the winner. I mean, it's just
absolutely disgusting.
That does not. Can you believe that does not cover 1 year's training?
Oh yeah, it's despicable.
You win a Spring Cup. No, you don't. You don't get year's training fees paid. That is just remarkable.
It's despicable, really. To business. Acquitted ran really well at Doncaster last time. I thought if he turned out if he had to beat, but they haven't bothered.
No.
Quite astonishing, really. The other one against the field was Power of Darkness, and this is one that I think was laid out for the Cambridgeshire last year. It had the one run back in June as a prep and went very well, I thought, and then it got a bit lost in the Cambridgeshire itself. He had to be snatched up inside the final furlong. And as I said, I don't think anything really went right. 16 to 1, it'd be a player for me. I think definitely can do better than its mark. Whether today's the day, I don't know. But
4 to 1 favourite, Troll Peninsula, very impressive at Kempton recently. The varying contact I have assures me this would be anywhere between mid-90s and early 100s off a mark of 88, but is 4 to 1 favourite. I've no real punt in this race. Nugget I was taken by at Nottingham. I felt that ran quite well after the absence behind Astro King, just didn't quite get the run of the race. I think that's very strong handicap form. It might only look a small field at Nottingham, but Astro King is always been sort of well thought of at Stouts. Finest Sound at Zenny was tipping to everyone saying this would win, and then Nugget just didn't quite get the run of the race, just in behind them. So I don't think Nugget will be far away with that race under his belt at double figures. Interesting race, but a competitive one, and certainly for not enough money. I know. Any other business, John, on Sunday?
Well, I thought the 355 had lots of unexposed ledger types. And then the 430, I thought Adi was open to plenty of improvement. I don't know if they declared ever.
Who's that? Which one?
No, I didn't think they would. Adi, it's on my tracker, but they haven't declared, so that's it for me for the weekend.
Okay, well, just one more I'll give you, which I would say this is worth backing on Sunday, and it's going to be my Sunday nap. And in fact, I'm going to label this as my weekend nap. It's in the 4:30 race at Newbury, and it's the maiden, and I am going with the Hughie Morrison trained Vino Victrix. Ran twice over a mile at Lingfield on the artificial surface, and basically you would say this has just not had the run of the race twice. It's Sir Percy out of a Javawi mare. I mean, the the pedigree suggests this is 1 mile 4+.
Yeah.
And Huey always brings his tackle out. Well, literally at you. Huey's tackle, yeah. So he brings his best out at Newbury. This is a good tip.
Yeah.
This is a good tip for anyone that's looking for Huey's best 3-year-olds. Watch what he brings out at Newbury in the spring, because this is where he likes to bring them on. But I think Vino Victrix, I think he's going to be a useful animal this year over middle distances. I could see it being a Melrose kind of horse. And the mile and 3 is a perfect start point. 3 furlongs up in trip from the Lingfield gas pit. And again, he's booked Will Buick. So, yeah, we like the Huey. That's a Vino Victrix in the 4:30 Newbury, which could be the start of good things for this horse going forwards this year. So, Vino Victrix is my weekend nap. Me and John have covered it all off today. Well, I think we've got some good bets. I do like John's bet on Saturday. I think he's dug that one out nicely. So hopefully Thick Dave can get our weekend off to a flyer before we have to sit and salute Phil mid-afternoon. And then we move on to the Sunday, and we'll hope that Vino Victrix can win and some chaos can land the Scottish National with Pilbara landing the Irish lolly for the dirty Emmett Mullins team. Me and John will be back on Sunday with our usual sermon. We've plenty to talk about, I can tell you. And I've definitely got 2 or 3 for Jimmy Lindley this week that are just ridiculous. So it will be an exciting show on Sunday, so join us on Sunday. But that's all from me and John. Hope your punting goes well this weekend. Bye for now.